right, guys, I just found this on Turki's Twitter. Hear it from himself, but check out his mannerisms and how he's talking. Turki, you gotta stop hanging out with so many Americans, mate.
Canelo in Riyadh and May, the big fight in the history of boxing in September.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused.
In a surprising turn of events, Saudi advisor Turki Alalshikh has revealed that Terence Crawford might actually fight on the undercard of Canelo Alvarez's next big event. This unexpected news has sparked a lot of discussion in the boxing world, especially since fans were hoping to see a main event showdown between Canelo and Crawford. Now, it looks like those plans may be changing, and that highly anticipated fight could be put on hold.
Turki Alalshikh playing games. You got somebody ask Turki Alalshikh, is this happening? Look at his response about Crawford facing Canelo. Look at his response. Make the fight, Turki, make the fight.
The buzz around a Canelo versus Crawford fight had been building for months. Fans and boxing experts were already making predictions, excited about the idea of the undisputed welterweight champ moving up in weight to face one of the sport's biggest names. The storyline seemed perfect. Crawford, fresh off his dominant win over Errol Spence Jr., was widely seen as the best fighter in the world. Meanwhile, Canelo, the undisputed champion at 168 pounds, continued to be the sport's top attraction, headlining the biggest events under the brightest lights, with Turki Alalshikh playing a major role in bringing blockbuster fights to Saudi Arabia. Many expected he'd be the one to finally make Crawford vs. Canelo a reality. But instead, he went in a different direction.
Still injured, and he's starting to rehab now and training again. And we hope to... he's one of our plan to see him fight in 25.
The goal obviously is a Canelo fight for him, right?
We hope he wants this fight, and why not?
You and Canelo, I know you guys are working towards trying to do a fight. What's the status of that?
We will see maybe next month, next 2 months, let's see.
This week, Turki Alalshikh told reporters that he's no longer planning to make the Canelo vs. Crawford fight, at least not anytime soon. He explained that both fighters have other exciting matchups to explore for now, and he specifically pointed out the big opportunities available to Crawford in Saudi Arabia's growing boxing scene. But the biggest surprise came when Turki mentioned that Terence Crawford might actually fight on the undercard of Canelo's next event, a move no one saw coming.
Canelo, we are ready to February. Crawford ready, except...
The boxing world reacted instantly. The idea of Terence Crawford, widely considered one of the most skilled fighters in the game, being placed on someone else's undercard raised eyebrows. And not just anyone's, Canelo Alvarez's. That detail alone shifted the entire tone of the conversation. Canelo didn't take long to respond. He said, there are just levels to it. Crawford is an amazing fighter, and I'd be very happy to fight on the same night as him. On the surface, it sounded respectful, but many saw it as a subtle jab. The phrase, there are just levels to it, came across as Canelo reminding everyone who the true main attraction is. It wasn't hostile, but it made a clear point. Crawford may be great, but Canelo is still the top draw.
What I think should be gone, the notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jermell Charlo already proved that.
This exchange highlighted an unspoken truth in boxing, the difference between skill and star power. Crawford's accomplishments are nearly unmatched, undefeated, undisputed at 140, and dominant at 147. His resume speaks for itself. But when it comes to global appeal, mainstream recognition, and drawing power, Canelo is in a league of his own, been headlining major pay-per-views for over a decade. His name alone guarantees millions in revenue, and his fights regularly pack stadiums. So when Turki Alalshikh mentions Canelo's card, everyone knows who the main attraction is. The entire event revolves around him.
In Riyadh, in May, the big fight in the history of boxing. In September, then 2 more fights in 26. Don't miss with the line.
The idea that Crawford might appear on the same card as Canelo, but not as the main event, quickly became one of the hottest topics in boxing. This wasn't just a scheduling update, it was about status. Even though both fighters have shown interest in going head-to-head, Turki Alalshikh's latest move sent a clear signal. For now, he sees more value in featuring Crawford under Canelo rather than putting them in the ring together. Why? That part isn't fully clear. It could be about money, promotional planning, or just waiting for the perfect moment. But one thing is certain, the decision has changed the conversation, and fans are watching closely to see what happens next.
His comments almost disrespectful when he was talking about eat you alive head-to-head on Mexican Independence Day.
Yeah,
if you're smart, you'll take the deal.
I respect everybody. I respect everybody, but I don't like that way he talks. But it's his problem, not my problem. And I don't ask for a fight. I don't ask for any fight. So I respect, like I say.
So far, Crawford hasn't made an official statement about the news, but fans are already divided. Some feel it's disrespectful to one of boxing's top talents, calling it a snub. Others see it differently, they think it's a strategic move. If Crawford wants to be part of these massive Saudi events, he might have to play along for now. After all, we've seen it before. Devin Haney fought on the undercard of Ryan Garcia's event, and no one questioned his status. When it comes to these Saudi megadeals, sometimes ego has to take a back seat to opportunity.
Versus Canelo. Ryan versus Devin. I think it's a good year for boxing. I think it's a great year for boxing. I'm eager to see this rematch. Hopefully we can get this rematch this year. Hopefully we can get it this year.
Canelo is already set to headline a card in Riyadh on May 3, 2025, where he'll face undefeated Cuban super middleweight William Skull. While the matchup hasn't generated major buzz, it serves a purpose. It keeps Canelo active, fulfills a mandatory title defense, and helps maintain his momentum heading into bigger fights later this year. Turki Alalshikh hasn't officially confirmed whether Crawford will appear on that same card, but the message is pretty clear. If Crawford wants to fight soon under the Saudi spotlight, it might be as the co-main event, right below Canelo.
Too excited of us to go out and talk about
September. Congratulations, boys! Yeah! Congrats, we're happy for you. That is awesome. Well, go ahead, Dana.
We actually are getting together with him tomorrow. We're going to shoot some content, and when it's time to announce, we have a massive fight. Literally, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. A massive fight that only this guy could make happen.
The bigger question now is what happens to the potential Canelo versus Crawford showdown. While Turki Alalshikh has stepped back from making the fight happen right now, he hasn't closed the door completely. Sources close to the situation say the matchup is still possible, especially if both fighters keep winning and fan demand keeps growing. A 2026 date isn't out of the question. That hasn't stopped analysts from weighing in early. And while Crawford is widely seen as one of the most complete fighters of his generation, many believe the size and strength difference at 168 pounds would give Canelo the edge. For now, it's all speculation, but the conversation around this dream fight is far from over.
Thing is not 14-inch gloves, not 2-minute round, not beating a legend in the age of your grandfather. Boxing is not like this. Do not name it boxing, please. Name it show. I am not against it. Name it show.
Crawford has fought as high as 154 pounds, but never against someone as physically strong and skilled as Canelo. The Mexican champion has spent years taking on and beating larger fighters, including Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, and Callum Smith. He's even held his own at 175 pounds against Dimitri Bivol. Despite losing that bout by decision, many analysts believe that while Crawford is technically superior to most opponents, Canelo's body shots and relentless pressure could break him down over 12 rounds. Some have even gone as far as to suggest that Crawford might not make it to the final bell. The jump from welterweight to super middleweight is a huge one, and facing someone like Canelo, who excels at neutralizing movement and punishing the body, could prove to be a dangerous challenge.
That's not. I just gotta beat him. I'm not going in there looking to knock Canelo out. Could it happen? Yes, absolutely. You know, when I look at Canelo, he's a smaller, bigger guy moving up in divisions. You know, being that these big guys are slower, so they might catch him with something, but he might see it at the last moment. You know, they might catch him with...
Despite the doubts, Crawford's fans remain firmly behind him. Many still believe he's the smarter, faster, and more adaptable fighter. They point to his dominant performance against Errol Spence, where Crawford controlled the fight from the very first round. They argue that Crawford has the unique ability to see things in the ring that others can't, and that he would find a way to exploit Canelo's style, despite giving up 15 to 20 pounds on fight night. But now, this situation has evolved into something bigger than just a potential matchup. It's about status. If Crawford were to fight on Canelo's undercard, even once, it would send a powerful message about where the global boxing world sees the balance of power.
See Canelo winning, and I'm not, you know, I don't know Canelo very well. I'll say hi to him if I see him. He'll say hi to me too, but we're not friends. You know, I could probably say I've spent more time with Crawford, so I would love to see Crawford pull it off. I would be more happy to see Crawford win, you know, because I know him better. I know him. I see him develop in top rank.
Canelo isn't just a fighter, he's an empire. He chooses his opponents, sets the schedule, and now, even someone as accomplished as Terence Crawford may have to align with his world to stay in the biggest events. For Turki Alalshikh, this strategy could be part of a bigger plan. By having Crawford fight under Canelo's banner first, he can help build Crawford's international star power, especially in the Middle East, while keeping the door open for a future megafight between them. In the meantime, the ongoing drama between the two keeps fans hooked, fueling the narrative and adding even more intrigue to the story.
Canelo, based on last fight, is a 50-50. So Canelo fights an undisputed champ, up-and-coming former champion, and an up-and-coming undefeated contender. And somehow those three last opponents are somehow compared to Bud's Madrimov fight, making it a 50-50 fight? Wow.
For now, Canelo versus Crawford is no longer on the immediate horizon, but the storyline is far from over. The idea of Crawford possibly fighting on Canelo's undercard, especially after months of fans fantasizing about them facing off, marks a dramatic shift in direction. Whether this is a stepping stone to something bigger or a permanent step down remains to be seen. However, there's still a chance the fight could happen in the future, even if it feels more like a dream than a reality right now. That hasn't stopped everyone, from fans to professionals to retired legends, from sharing their thoughts, and let's just say, the opinions are anything but mild.
No Triple G on Bud's resume. There's no Trout on Bud's resume. There's no Daniel Jacobs on Bud's resume. Canelo is the one that's fought the elite level opposition. It's Canelo that fought Laura. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ.
Yeah, but Bud is an elite boxer.
So you're an elite boxer, but you haven't fought elite boxer.
One of the most respected and experienced voices to weigh in recently is veteran boxing trainer Abel Sanchez. If you know anything about modern boxing history, you'll recognize Sanchez as the mastermind behind Gennady Golovkin's early career dominance. He's a strategist who understands ring IQ, tactics, and weight classes better than most. And when it comes to Canelo versus Crawford, Sanchez isn't buying into the hype. "Come on, I think it's a ridiculous fight myself," Sanchez said in a no-holds-barred interview with Fight Hub TV. "Crawford is too small."
Hey, listen, I told my boy Jazz, I already caught the biggest fish in Texas. About to get out here and get it in. I see the water. I know who the #1 fisherman is. Even big fish get caught.
That's the kind of comment that stings, not because it's disrespectful, but because it highlights a very real and dangerous truth in boxing: size matters. Sanchez doesn't deny Crawford's greatness. In fact, he praises his hand speed and ring IQ. But he draws a clear line. Crawford might be slick, but Canelo, in Sanchez's eyes, is simply too much. He even draws a comparison that many hardcore fans will remember well, when Kell Brook moved up in weight to challenge Sanchez's own fighter, Gennady Golovkin.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing.
Back then, Kell Brook's speed gave Golovkin some trouble for a few rounds. But once Golovkin's power and pressure started landing, it was only a matter of time before Brook broke down. Sanchez sees Canelo versus Crawford playing out in a similar way. The hand speed was there at the start, he said, but as the fight goes on, Canelo is going to start pounding on him. It's a harsh assessment, and Sanchez isn't holding back. He believes that anything Canelo lands will hurt Crawford, and by the time Crawford adjusts to the timing, the damage will already be done. Sanchez even gives a rough round estimate, somewhere between the 9th and 12th round, before Canelo closes the show.
I do wonder how effective Crawford can be if he's moving up in weight. You know, like you're starting to see that, you know, now he's not quite as strong. The knockout streak is over. But he can box really, really well. But Madrimov pressed him the whole fight. So obviously the power wasn't getting the respect that he might have gotten when he was a little at the smaller weight classes. And remember, Canelo is a guy who presses a lot. That's one thing Canelo does. Canelo's not very active, but he gets in your face.
That's the thing. While fans are still dreaming about Bud pulling off the impossible, those who've spent decades around elite fighters are already writing the ending. Sanchez even pointed to Crawford's last fight, his 154-pound win over Israil Madrimov, as evidence that weight truly matters. I don't care how much weight he gains or what he does to try to get up to that level, 168 is going to make a difference. That's not hate, that's just a reality check from a guy who's been there. But then, of course, the internet chimes in, hold on.
I think it's a ridiculous fight myself. I think that Crawford is too small. Canelo is, in my opinion, the face of boxing right now. I think that look at his resume. I think it's a good fight for a little while. Crawford's hand speed will, just like when Golovkin fought Kell.
Crawford's fans haven't just ignored the size difference, they've completely flipped the narrative. After recent training footage of Canelo surfaced online, fans watched closely. In the video, Canelo looked sharp, with tight hooks, clean form, and precise movement, classic Canelo. But to some, something seemed off. He appeared a bit slower, less explosive. And, as expected, the takes started pouring in. Bud is going to do it, one fan wrote. Undisputed at 5 weights. Another commented, I think Crawford is too quick now. Canelo looks slightly slower. One fan even speculated that maybe Canelo was already past his prime, suggesting, has to be the end of his workout or age catching up. He's looking a bit slow. Crawford will be excited. Of course, Canelo's supporters weren't having any of it. King of 168, let's go. Still got that power, one fan said. Another responded, he's so precise with his shots, it's going to be a problem for Crawford with the size advantage. That's where this fight stands right now, in the clash between cold logic and pure belief, between experience and hope, between size and skill. Canelo is already set for a May 3rd return against William Skull in Riyadh. Not the flashiest name, but Skull is undefeated, and Canelo understands the politics of boxing better than anyone. Beat Skull, become undisputed at 168 again, and suddenly, the Crawford fight doesn't just become big, it becomes historic.
Canelo fans, please pray for Canelo. He's about to fight William Skull in Saudi. Pray for Canelo, bro. Pray for Canelo.
Bro, but don't you get it? Canelo will never lose because Turkey needs him.
You'd have a 2-time undisputed super middleweight champ defending his title against a 4-division champ trying to become a 5-division monster. That's legacy on top of legacy. And Crawford? He's not just sitting around. He's quietly working, getting used to the new weight, sharpening his skills, and adjusting his body for the demands of a fight against someone who's faced the likes of Bivol, Plant, Golovkin, and Jacobs. Mentally, he's as locked in as ever. He told The Ring, I'm not going to dismiss any fighter I've ever fought because all of them have placed me in the position I am right now, the face of boxing. I am just clearly focused on one individual right now, and that is Canelo, and only Canelo.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat him.
That's not hype talk, that's obsession. Crawford isn't just preparing for this fight, he's transforming. He's studying Canelo's patterns, his habits, his tells. Whether that will be enough to bridge the power gap remains the million-dollar question. But some already think they know the answer, and they're putting real money on it. Shannon Briggs, the former heavyweight champ, came out swinging with a prediction that's already turning heads. I got Crawford by stoppage. A brutal stoppage, he said on ES News. I've got 100K on it. Now, that's a statement. Briggs is no stranger to controversy, but when a guy who fought Lennox Lewis and George Foreman tells you Crawford's going to brutally stop Canelo, people listen.
If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, well, you know, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want $200 million for Benavidez, and he want $150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to his legacy.